conversations. Let's have real conversations.
Get ready to stir it up.
Life events and everything in between. Let's go.
Get ready to stir it up.
No capping. If guests got you covered right up.
Get ready to stir it up. Stir it up.
Come on.
Get ready to stir it up.
Welcome to Stir It Up. Today I have Mr. Ashok Shah here. And Ashok is the group CEO for Apollo Group. We're going to be talking about businesses that are built to last and how you invest in those businesses, how you build them, but also more importantly, how you make sure that they're successful. And this is a long journey that you've been on. And thank you for being here and being willing to share with us so we can learn from you.
It's a pleasure to be here. This is the first time I'm doing a podcast of this kind, and I'm looking forward to see what comes out of it. But thank you for giving me the privilege to be here on this podcast, and let me see if I can stir it up.
Thank you.
And get your listeners and viewers to sort of comment on it.
Yes. The pleasure is ours to have you. It's not every day that my couch is graced with someone who's built what you've built over time. So let's start off by getting to know the man outside of the business. So if I was to ask people close to you, how would they describe you?
I think the first thing that they would say is that I'm extremely stubborn.
Okay.
I will not let go. But then also I'm fairly demanding, and I would like things to be extremely exact. But when it comes to socializing, party life, I like to enjoy myself. I travel a lot, and so my friends and family will tell you that if at any opportunity to travel, I will be the first one to sign up. Okay. And then the other area is that I'm sort of fairly humble in the right circumstances. That I will treat another person with respect, unless the person has done something that displeases me or against my principles. But also, I do not give my personal thoughts out very, very easily. In that way, I'm a very
private,
quiet, and also, in some ways, a very closed person.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's stay on the humility for a moment. Often as people achieve success and they grow and you get to certain place of accomplishment, it's not always easy to be humble. Do you want to share why you think humility is such a big value for you, and where did you get that from?
I think I've got it over time, but also I think it's from the family, okay. From my upbringing. Humility, I believe that what humility demands is that you always respect the other person, and and I don't, I can be in any situation. Over the years, I've come to see that if I'm going into a hotel and a doorman is there, and perhaps he does. In the old days, sometimes I would become a little bit angry if the doorman did something wrong. But now if I walk into the hotel and the doorman does something wrong, then I sort of take it easily and do not chastise him or say anything about that person. Because at the end of the day, perhaps the person that you're talking to or behaving in a different way, in a difficult way, is that perhaps they've had a bad day or something. And but if they've been, like if you're going back to the doorman at the hotel, if that person has been there for many years, they must be doing something right.
Yes.
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 So generally, even with our staff now, I find that if I see somebody has done something wrong, then I would not. I would go to the boss and I'll say that, look, this thing has happened, and please look into it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for that. Back to the conversation of being stubborn. My father was a stubborn man.
Okay.
And I think that the stubbornness was more in line of when he sets his mind to do something, he must do it.
Yes.
Almost like he must be successful. But there was also a side to him that wasn't always great, where the stubbornness was, it has to be my way. But when you dig down, as I got older and I began to understand him a bit more, I realized it was his upbringing, the experiences he had had. So, he was very willful. He needed everything to be perfect, right? Yes. So even when Daddy was about 79 or 80 at the time, he wanted his medications arranged a certain way. He wanted things done a certain way. So I see how his stubbornness served him over his career as a medical doctor. I see how it served him, in his personal life, in achieving certain things. But I also see how it took a toll on him at a point in time. Tell me about how being stubborn has helped you, and also where it has been difficult for you.
So, the reason sometimes I can be stubborn is because I believe that it's not my way, but I believe that what I'm thinking and I want to do is the right thing for us to do.
Yeah.
And what people might want to do is change the direction, or actually sort of start doing it a different way to what my thinking is. Then my stubbornness would come in and I would say that, look, I believe that we must follow this particular way. But stubbornness but then the stubbornness also gets mellowed. It gets mellowed because what happens is that you start with a thought. That thought becomes fixated in your mind, and then what happens is that you want to follow that way, but then somebody will come and say something to you, and you have to now start thinking about why that person has come and told you this, and then you have to decide that, do I now agree to change the way I want to do something, or do I still continue what I think is the right way? But my stubbornness in many ways has served me quite well, in the sense that when I'm dealing with, there was an incident I had a long time ago with one of the, what would now be the commissioner of insurance. But at that time, the person was in charge, it was a department of insurance, and the person was still the commissioner, called the commissioner of insurance. And he actually threatened me on a phone call. And when he threatened me on the phone call, then I actually put down my phone on him, and immediately wrote a letter to him saying that I do not agree with some of the things that he was telling me. And, that particular person had been a very difficult person to deal with as the Commissioner of Insurance. All the companies would to acquiesce with him. But then in this particular instance, I knew I was, and we were correct. And we did not want to be chastised by anyone. So the letter I wrote to him, from that day until he was replaced as the Commissioner of Insurance, he did not speak to me at all, number one. Number two, he did not even send a single letter to us demanding us to, what he would have done with other companies. He didn't do that to us at all. So that stubbornness could have backfired.
True.
Because he had all the rights to
and the influence and the power.
He had the rights and influence and power, but I just felt that what he was doing, telling us or telling me to do, and demanding me to do, I said I'm not going to agree to you. Okay. But after that, with all the commissioners who have come in to the in the regulator's role, we have had extremely good relationship. Sure. And sort of because the relationship is also extremely good. Yes. Because as a group we are not allowed. I will not allow certain things to happen. Okay. I will not allow people to cross the line. It's a very what would I say? It's a line which is drawn.
A hard line.
A hard line that's drawn, but not written.
It's an invisible line, but it exists.
It exists, and people know that there are certain things cannot be done, okay. And so something like that is extremely important. Okay. Is that. But my stubbornness then also can be very, can hit back as well, because when I'm traveling or something like that, in Africa, when you travel in Africa, traveling is a nightmare.
It is.
Because you got to go through customs, you got to go through immigrations, you got to go to other securities areas and so on. And, once or twice when I have been, stubborn, I've learned the lesson the hard way. Because the officer or whoever can now take a very hard stand and make your life more
miserable
difficult.
And uncomfortable.
So stubbornness all the time. For me now is that my stubbornness is still there, yes. But it is mellowed.
Yes.
And at the same time is that when somebody says something, I think about why they are saying it. Yes. And if I think that what they are saying makes sense and is reasonable, then I would
take
change.
It on. Yeah. I think also, and this is an assumption I make and you can correct me, I think with age and life experience, yes. You also learn to pick your battles, right?
That's right, yes.
Yes. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. Let's go into how this business started.
Yes.
How did we start Apollo Group? How did we start APA? How did we start all these companies?
Okay. As a family, we've been in Kenya. My father came in as a 10-year-old boy on his own. He came in 1918. And he worked hard and basically he created a very good life for all of us. And then what happened was I left home around about 11 or 12 because I went to a boarding school away from home. Then from that boarding school, I went to UK for further studies. And I came back to Kenya after he had passed away.
Okay.
By which time the family had fairly difficult times, in the sense that we had coffee farms, and then when I came here, I didn't really come here to stay. I came with my wife, and I said we will be here for 3 weeks for a holiday, because my father had passed away about a year ago, and I said we'll go there, at least stay with the family, and then come back. But that 3 week holiday has never stopped.
Has never ended. We are still
Never
on a
ended.
3-week holiday.
3 weeks holiday, because we never went back. And I was very fortunate that my wife actually was very supportive, and because her family was in UK,
Okay.
the whole family, but she was very supportive, and we then bought out a small electrical business. But what happened was, our coffee farms, the second coffee farm was in what was then the royal land. That's where Gatundu, President Kenyatta and his family, that was the area they were in. So all those coffee farms were being targeted by people close to President Kenyatta.
Yeah.
And ours was targeted by a group, who basically wanted to buy it out. And they were making an offer to buy out that coffee farm. But then we had already decided to sell the coffee farm to the same group that we had sold the first coffee farm. So then the coffee farm was invaded by these people, and all the coffee that was on the farm was stolen. And then basically at that time, so we actually lost everything that was in the family,
Yeah.
by way of wealth. So then I told my elder brother, who was running the coffee farm, saying that, why don't we do something? Because I had started my career in England in insurance. I studied chemistry, and couldn't see a good job in England as a chemist, to work in the chemical industry. At that time, I would have earned about £100 per month.
Okay.
Then a person who had sold me my first insurance policy, and who had kept in touch with me for all this time, met me at. He was passing by our house, and he met me, and he said, "What are you doing? What are you going to do?" So I said, "Well, I'm not quite sure, because I'm looking for a job, but the salary that I'm going to get is £100 per month, and I don't think it's that good." So he says, "Would you like to try insurance?" So I said, "Okay."
What year is this?
This is in 1972.
Got it. Okay.
So he says, "Would you like to try insurance?" And I said, my first question was, how much would it pay me?
We are looking at the important things, and that's important.
It is important, because then he said it would be £250.
Okay.
So I said, "Well, that sounds good. What do I have to do?"
Yes.
So he said, "We will teach you exactly what you need to do." It was really marketing, selling life insurance.
Okay.
So he was with a brokerage.
Okay.
So I said, £250 sounds quite good. 2.5 times more than what I would have earned.
Better than 100.
Yes. And also, then he said that there would be other perks that you can gain later on. So I said, fine. So I said, let's start insurance. And so when I came to Kenya, I was a very successful insurance broker, had a good track record, and all the people I provided policies and mortgages were very happy with my services. But then here I told my brother that, look, why don't we look at why don't we go into a business like insurance? And nobody knew how to start an insurance
This
company. But then he was able to meet up with somebody who had just, who was actually working in an insurance company called Pan Africa.
Okay.
So this was in Mombasa. It was headquartered in Mombasa. And the person was an accountant, or the chief accountant. So he says that I can introduce you to the executive director who's just been retired from Pan Africa. Why don't we talk to him? So Sashi talked to him, and then the person said, yes, I can help you start an insurance company. But he was a life insurance man. So his idea was to just be a life insurance company. But because of his contacts, then Sashi said, okay, let's start the insurance company. And at that time, the capital required to start an insurance company, get a license, because there was no insurance regulator at that time, was 2 million Kenya shillings. So
But at that time, that was a lot.
there was a lot of money, and we didn't have that sort of money. So what happened was Sashi actually was able to raise some of the capital from our other businesses, and then we went to friends and family and asked them to contribute, and they took on the shareholding in the company. So we got a license, and then the Mr. Navre, who was then the director, executive director, with his contacts was able to talk to Swiss Re, and Swiss Re said, yes, we will support you in every way we can. But then they said, why do you only want to start a life insurance company? Because in life insurance, there is hardly any. It's basically it's policyholders' money. Shareholders do not benefit that much. So why don't you even start a general insurance company? And what then obviously we asked Swiss Re, we don't know anything about insurance. Mr. Navre knows life insurance, but nobody knows anything about general insurance. And then basically what happened was Swiss Re said, we'll give you all the support, we'll train you, etc. So they trained, started giving us they gave us the treaties, the support, and also training. So we became a composite company.
Okay.
And we became a composite company, and I was at that time running the shop. And, then I started, because the headquarters were in Mombasa. So we started, everything that was to be done in Nairobi was being done by me and one or two others who were working in the shop.
Yeah.
So we were like like an agency of Apollo in those days, and we were doing all the work. And then I started going deeply into the general insurance side, and also into the reinsurance side. So all these, then we were able to start. We became a small company, very small. But we started doing more business in Mombasa than Nairobi. Nairobi needed a lot more hard work because all the big brokers were in Nairobi, and also the agents that we have, and we just plowed along and got a company started. Then I basically was supporting on the general insurance side, and also on the reinsurance side. So I learned a lot of, I learned all my general insurance and reinsurance in that period. And then what happened was we basically said, now we must have something in Nairobi. So we started our branch in Nairobi in 1981, and then in
I was
19
1 year old.
no, that was about four.
No, I was 1 year
Oh,
old.
you're 1 year old, and was not born. So yes, yeah. So we basically actually started the Nairobi branch, and I then became the chief marketer. And there's something that I have, and this is where perhaps my humility and humbleness comes in, is that I got my credit. If you look at my visiting card, there's no title. So I've always, avoided having a title on my card. So I would go to a broker's office, talk to a junior officer. So I'll be the junior officer in the same level. Then I can talk to the manager.
And you're the manager.
And then I would be the manager. And then I started approaching the MDs, etc. So most of the brokers in Nairobi at that time were mostly white brokers.
Yeah.
And to them, obviously, Apollo was not even an entity that they could deal with.
Yeah.
So I was able to then go to, at that time, Minette. I talked to the executive director, who was an Englishman, and the MD at that time was a Kenyan. So the MD and myself at least we were able to relate to each other, because he also came from the same part of Kenya that I come from.
Okay.
And then we were able to talk to him, and he said, look, I don't have any objections in giving business to Apollo, but what it is that the people who are making the decisions are the managers. So I started talking to the manager, and then the first lot of business from an international broker came from Minette. And after that, for us, it was not really looking back at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listening to you and you sharing the context, I think what struck me the most in that context was the persistence of, we're going to do this, and then actually doing it, because raising the capital to start it wasn't easy. You didn't have the skill set, all the skill sets, right? No. But then learning on the job. And just even being able to transcend the different levels with whether the industry, other industry folks, or the other partners that you were working with, yes, was definitely interesting. So did you then run this business with your brother, or was it, how did that then work out?
Okay, we ran the business because the head office was still in Mombasa.
Yes.
Sashi was the MD, Mr. Navre was the executive director.
Okay.
And sort of everything was being done in Mombasa. Okay. We were just really a branch here in Nairobi. And policies would come from Mombasa, claims would be dealt with in Mombasa. So all those things were happening there. So Nairobi was just really like a post office.
Understood.
Then gradually Nairobi started issuing policies.
Okay. You started growing the Nairobi office.
Yes, but the premium, so Nairobi office started growing, but all the accounting and all the claim settlement were coming from Mombasa. Okay. So those sort of things went on. So then we had a branch manager, and the branch manager, in fact, there was one particular branch manager who was called George Aino. He's passed away. But we took him on as a branch manager. He came from another company. And the interesting thing is that I learned a lot from him.
Good.
I learned a lot more insurance from him in the years that he was the branch manager. So insurance is there's something about insurance is now it is being taught in universities, but in those days there were no university courses on insurance.
Got it.
The main insurance credentials were through the Chartered Insurance Institute.
Got it.
And insurance is generally a very practical subject, and what you do is you learn as you are going along, new techniques, new ways. In those days we would never think about cyber crime. There were computers then, but nobody knew how to. Nobody could actually. There were no networks, so all your computers were isolated from outside.
Oh, yeah.
So nobody could, at that time there was no need for cyber security.
So you've set this company up, and now it's growing.
Yes.
You have Mombasa as the headquarters, but Nairobi is also beginning to issue claims, and it's also beginning to grow. If there are two things you did to grow it exponentially, what will those things be? What are the things you did to scale up?
Well, through the Mombasa office, what was happening was we were able to tie up with some life insurance agents, and Apollo really became a very large underwriter of life insurance.
Okay.
But General was restricted in many ways, and we basically had to look for general business. We were getting general business from Mombasa in small ways, and we had some tie-ups in Nairobi. But then there's something that I saw that if we were to be a successful insurance company and be able to grow and lead, then things had to change. And because Mombasa handling as a head office and doing all the work in Mombasa was in fact hampering us in many ways, because insurance is really it's about trust and paying claims. So we were finding that dealing with claims through Mombasa and dealing with other areas of our business was becoming quite difficult. And I saw that it would not really help us to grow at all. So I maneuvered in a subtle way, getting the head office moved to Nairobi.
Okay.
So as soon as we got the head office moved to Nairobi, then we were able to manage our finances, because the finances, everything started happening here, payment to reinsurers, payment of claims. So we started making sure that those were the priorities.
Okay.
And so moving the head office was the first stage. Then the second stage was to see if how do we get the hierarchy, changed, so that we could now do much better. So I got somebody else to come in as a MD. That person was there for 2 years, and when he left, I took over as the CEO. And then because I became the CEO, I was able to now do much more in things like growing the business, expanding the business, having the right people in place, and bringing in new ideas, new thoughts.
Got it.
And at that time, we then said that, there were two ways of expanding. One was either organic expansion, or the other one was some sort of takeover
Or partnership.
or merger. So we started to, we approached a couple of firms, and we said, why don't we merge? And maybe for good reasons, the mergers did not take place with those firms. And then in 2000, 2000, African Life took over a strategic shareholding in Pan Africa Insurance. And in 2000, one day I woke up to read the headlines that all the directors had been removed. All the local directors had been removed. And the reason they had been removed was because that there was insider trading that has gone on.
Ooh.
So the insider trading obviously, is not acceptable. And in our case, we didn't have insider trading as Apollo. But what we had was, we had started, until Mombasa had the control of the finances, we had started investing money in different ways and different areas. So, it was not coordinated, and controls were not very good. So these people were removed because of insider trading. Then the person, they said the person who's coming as a CEO is somebody I knew from Swiss Re.
Okay.
So I rang him up and I said, I know you guys are very good at life insurance, but what are you going to do with your general insurance business? And he says, well, I've not given it a thought. Obviously, you would not have
I'm
given
just
it.
here. I just
Yes,
arrived.
So I said, can I come and see you? He said, no, I'll come and see you. So he came, we had a cup of coffee, etc., and we talked about it. And he says, let me think, and then I'll get back to you. Then a couple of years later, investment bank came to us and they said, we would like to talk to you about a merger potential. So it was Pan Africa that was, talking to different companies, and we were one of the companies that they were going to talk to. And we started talking, and we then looked at Pan Africa. We said, let us see what we can do. And we then merged with Pan Africa. We merged on a 60-40 basis.
And you were 60 or they were 60?
We were 60.
You were 60.
And what had happened was, just before we merged, we had brought in another partner. That partner, if that partner had come in, then it would have been 35 us, 35 the other partner, and 30% Pan Africa.
Got it.
So fortunately, that didn't happen. So we went back to 60-40. Otherwise, if the other partner had come in, then I don't think we would be where we are now.
Got
Because obviously management would have been a problem. There was no majority by anyone, and so it would have been difficult to work. But then Pan Africa came in, and we had to work extremely hard to clean out all the problems that Pan Africa General Insurance had. Okay. It was making losses for the last few years. It was making losses, and even on the merger was done because of the Insurance Act. The merger can only be done at a financial date and end of year financial date, previous financial date. So we merged at that time, but all the losses that Pan Africa had to be accounted for by us in the new merger. So the final amount that Pan Africa's contribution to the new company was 16 million shillings. And they had 40%, 16 million shillings and 40%. And Apollo had put in, I think, about 290 million at that time.
But then how did they get such a big stake?
Because of the way the structuring was designed. It was an asset-only merger.
Got it.
So they brought in the assets, but on the financial side, we had to pay the losses.
Got it.
And
Got it.
and so what happened was that they were supposed to, when we had signed, they were supposed to have their amount was going to be 96 million.
Got it.
So the final contribution from them was 16 million. So that was it. So anyway, then APA was born. It became people would ask, what is APA? So we said it's we didn't want to really make it very much public, but we would say it's Apollo Pan Africa.
Okay.
So that's why APA was born. And that was in 2003.
Got it.
And now we are into 2025. APA is the largest insurer, general insurer in Kenya.
Well done.
Perhaps in the region.
Well done.
Yes.
If you were to say one thing that makes you different as a general insurer, what would that one thing be?
I think what it is that we are flexible.
Okay. Okay.
We're extremely flexible, and I think we listen. And what happened was, as soon as APA was born, we said it was a new dimension in insurance. And one of the things we said was that we'll make sure that our claims service is going to be the best in town.
So you actually pay people when they make claims. There's no hanky-panky.
No, unless it's a fraudulent claim or somebody is doing something wrong. Otherwise, if it's a correct claim, etc., then we pay. And the brokers and agents who were dealing with Apollo and Pan Africa at that time realized that, especially the ones that were with Pan Africa, realized that we were actually, keeping our word and making sure that all the claims that were with Pan Africa, which were still in the queue, were all settled very extremely quickly as soon as the merger took place.
You have paid out some very huge claims to some big clients in the past, and it's interesting to connect that to the fact that you say you actually pay your claims. Yeah.
Yes.
So, let's talk about people in your business. When you think about people, how important are they? And how are you different from other employers when it comes to people, culture, growth, development, all of those things?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'd like to see, and I want to make sure that it happens, but it's not there all the time, is that we must have an inclusivity. We must what the leadership must make sure that they are inclusive and they're able to relate to each other properly. Now, what has happened is that until we took on Vinod Bharatan about 8 years ago, as the CEO of APA Insurance Kenya, we only had one expatriate.
Okay.
We only had one expatriate, and there was something that we basically said very clearly, is that our business should be run by Kenyans, and we have got Kenya has got excellent expertise and talent. So I said, that's how we should run our businesses. So until then, but since then things have changed. Now we got, because of because people have left, and we have had to recruit. And when we were recruiting, we decided that we must get the best people. So now we have got about 4 or 5 expatriates in Kenya.
Yeah.
In Uganda, we have 2.
Got it.
But Uganda is a very different area. And Tanzania, where we have an associate, has also got two expatriates. But what it is that Kenyan talent is one of the best talents that we have. And the main thing that is that how do we sort of nurture them and how do we grow them? So there are many people in Apollo and APA and Apollo who started at a very low level. Now at a very extremely high level, running different departments. There were people who used to be in the data. We started when we started. We brought in a new software, so we needed people to be data input clerks. Now those data input clerks came in and they stayed on, and some are branch managers. Others became head of departments, reinsurance, and different areas. So we have grown, nurtured them, and we've given them opportunities. So those are the thing about people. The other thing is with the people is that what we are trying to do is we want to keep training them and growing them. So we have tried to also bring in the last few years training for, what would I say, not middle management, but senior people who are just below the middle management level. We have a program called Pace Setters.
Okay.
So we've taken them over 6 months in different areas of management, personal development, managing each other, learning about each other's character, and knowing that if why is this person, why is Ashok such stubborn?
I was just going to say that. Why is this person stubborn?
So they will know.
But then
that,
why is this person humble, or why is this person this way?
So they know that I'll be, if you look at the disc.
Yeah.
Then I'll be C, which is controlling. No, but I'm red, which is controlling, but I'm also blue, which is calm and yes. So I sort of I'm in can be either. So I can be very controlling and I can be very calm.
Yeah.
And then it depends with the person I'm dealing with as well.
And the situation, I think that the situation also...
The situation is also, yes, you're
part
right.
of the what brings it out in you. If it's a high stakes situation,
Yes.
A different part of you might come out, and sometimes if it's low stakes.
That's right, because we are in the risk business, and we take risks, but that doesn't mean that you just take any risk.
Yes.
So we've had situations where somebody has come up with a proposal of doing something, and I will look at it and I will say that, look, I'm sorry, but I don't think we should do this, because for us is any risk we take, either we should be able to take care of that risk fully, or we should be able to have reinsurance cover and support from others to take on that risk. Now, if something like that, and something that cannot even be insurable, then don't touch it.
Sundams. So I think that a lot of the time CEOs and MDs have these pet projects and things that they do.
Yes.
And I've had the privilege of talking to your team and knowing the amount of giving back that as an organization you do. And there are two things that I know, and I know there's a whole range of things, but one of them was the sun dams.
Yes.
And the other one was the collaborations with schools for children with, eye problems. And I want you to tell us a bit about what inspires that and why you do these projects.
The Sandam was something which I would say that as part of our now it's become ESG, environment, social, and governance. But Sandam, how it started, the story about the Sandam is in 2006, there was a very bad famine in Ukambani, which is around the Machakos area.
Yes.
And the famine was extremely bad, and our staff at that time, they just got together and they collected money.
Okay.
This was initiative, we didn't even know about this initiative that they started collecting money. And what they did was they then collected money. Then they came to us and they said, look, we have collected so much money, but we'd like to buy food and take it to Ukambani. And so we said, okay, for every shilling you have collected, we'll give you 2 shillings. But then they went there, they gave out the food to the families and then came back. But then we said that, look, how long can you keep on giving food to people? What is the reason of the famine and how can we avoid it? The main problem in those areas was that there was lack of water. People would put in boreholes and other things, but even the boreholes sometimes would be difficult because the community will have water for sometimes, but the boreholes would not, if the engine or the pump broke down, they didn't have the money to actually, repair it. So we started looking at different areas, which are the ways of providing water to those communities, and so that what came out was sand dams. Somebody was already constructing sand dams in those parts in Kitui. Actually, they were constructing it in Kitui. And they were doing very well. And they explained to us that a sand dam is much more superior than any other type of water source for arid areas. One thing is what happens is if you do boreholes, there are 2 things that you are doing. One is that the community needs money to keep the borehole.
Yeah.
But if there are too many boreholes, then you are taking all the groundwater away, and then that groundwater becomes saline, what is left.
Yes.
And then it is not good for agriculture or for human consumption. So that was number 1. Number 2 was if you put in a surface water dam, then it's sort of evaporation takes place and also pollution. Animals, human beings, and so on gets pollution. So the sand dam was actually something that we saw was extremely good, because first thing is that the storage of the water, the reservoir for the water is the sand. As where you will find that the sand goes back the same amount that would have been water. So it's that area is covered by sand, and that 40% of that 40% of it is water. There's no pollution that will take place because animals or human beings will not be able to pollute that water. Then the thing is there is no evaporation that takes place, and even if there's a little bit of rain or any time that comes, the sand will absorb it, and then the sand also starts giving water to the environment. So
Okay.
that area also becomes green and also goes into the groundwater. Then the first first thing that we did was we learned that we must put a artisan well with a hand
Okay.
pump. So that the people don't have to go and dig into the sand, but they go to the hand pump and they just go to get the water. So we put hand pumps with every sandam that we build. And the other thing that we did was we said, okay, we will build those sand dams, we will support those sand dams, but then the other proviso we did was that our people must be part of must be there to build it.
Wow.
So every sand dam that we have built, our staff have gone
Yeah.
in great numbers and worked with the communities and helped build that sand dam, so that our staff also know what we are doing as a CSR. So has now we've completed 43 sand dams.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yes, and this year we also then tied up with the Asian Foundation, and we told the Asian Foundation that look, we would be willing to agree to some sand dams, and then we agreed that we'll build 7 sand dams on one single river. We want to see that those 7 sand dams on one single river will mean that about 14 or 15 kilometers of that river will be with sand dams, number one. The whole community, there will be a large number of the community that lives around there that will actually benefit from there. And we want to see that in 2 or 3 years later, what happens, one to the river and the other to the community.
Thank you for that.
Yes. So that is something that we want to make sure will happen. I think so. Sandem is obviously our pet project, very important. But then children and our tie-up with Gelata is also extremely important. Gelata is a school in Runda. Runda is one of the most expensive suburbs in Nairobi, but there is not a single child in Chelata comes from any of those rich people's home.
Yeah.
All the children in Chelata come from the 2 slums which are near that school, Gizogoro and Huruma. So the children come from there, and we saw that, but our relationship with Chelata started later. We first started with the Runda Youth Sports Association. They had a football team, they were doing other things, so we said we will work with them. And then we saw that there was this school, Chelata, there, which most of them had gone to, or some of them had gone to, and it needed help. But the marks that Chelata was getting were very low.
Okay.
So we started a scheme whereby the top boy and top girl at every Form 4 exam, we would give them full education support for the next 4 years of secondary. And our support was supposed to stop at secondary, but those.
But was it easy to stop at secondary?
But no, it wasn't. Then the boys and girls would come back, and they would say that we got a job, we got a place in a university.
Yes.
We don't have money. So the team would come and say, can we support this boy or girl for the university?
Yeah.
So there were 2 ways we did. We gave them the fees for the university, but then we also said that, okay, during the holidays, you can come and do an internship in the company. So, so a lot of boys and girls have qualified there, and then when they have qualified, some of them are now actually employed by APA Apollo, and they are in different parts of our businesses. So that is there, and now that the Form 4 exams have stopped, we are now trying to see what we are going
What
to
else
do,
you can do.
what we can do with them. We want to continue with our mentorship. We want to continue with giving them other support.
Good.
Like the type of support, I mean, one of the things is that uh, the female employees of AP Apollo actually have gone and talked to the girls there and also supported, given them some advice on sanitary pads, etc., given them sanitary pads. So there are certain activities. So children, I think, is one of the things which is very important as part of um, our social, social support and impact.
Thank you. And I say thank you on their behalf, but also just with the staff being involved in something like this, it's a big thing, right? Because it also allows them to feel part of,
Yes.
and also doing things that drive impact and
Yes.
change people's lives. In my culture, we say something about, I want to teach you how to fish or how to hunt,
Yes.
and not just give you the food.
That's right.
Because then it's sustainable. And so some of the things that you're doing, whether it's in education, whether it's in healthcare, or just even building the sundowns, are things that are allowing them to thrive rather than giving the handouts. And
That's
don't get me
right.
wrong, handouts are important as
Yes.
an emergency or in particular situations. But there's also a time where you want to build sustainability.
Yes. No, I think that is important. And one other thing that has happened is that because of the association with RISA,
Yeah.
we are supporting the seniors team in the league.
Yes.
So they're in the second league, national league. But what has happened is that the person who is there, one of the leaders of RISA, with whom our relationship started in 2006, is somebody called Peter.
Okay.
And Peter has been training, through RISA, they have been training younger groups. And recently, he came to us about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and he said that I've got this. The first time, what happened was he came to us, and he said I got these boys who have been, who can go and play in Gothia Club in Gothia Cup in Sweden. So he said, can you support us with some support?
Yeah.
So we supported them, and the boys went. And these are slum children who had never been on a plane and never thought
That's
of...
life-changing.
Yes, never going to that part of the world. But then the second or third year, he came to us and he says, now our girls' team is ready. Now, this is the very interesting part, because he says our girls' team is ready and we want to take them to Sweden for the Gothia Cup. And then I talked to Joyce and Esther and Grace and so on. I said, what can we do? Why can't we? Why don't we support them? This is unique because it's girls. So we supported the girls. They went to Sweden, and they came back. And I think we got a clip. Joyce, we will try to see if we can give you that clip. Then we had the girls come in and speak when we were having our partnership event, when Hollard came in as our shareholder, and all our Swiss Re were there, Hollard was there, and we had invited a lot of other people. They spoke at we had a town hall in the morning. And the town hall was all our staff and all the directors and all the shareholders' representatives. And we got the girls to come and speak.
Yeah.
And they told their story of what they thought and what they achieved and what, they saw a different reality. And that's something that basically encourages you to do more of these things, because you can see it's life-changing.
It is life-changing.
You know, I mean, the girls would have never, you know, one of them said, I didn't even know, you know, I mean, I don't think they had been even to the airport.
No, I can imagine that.
Yes.
I can
Yeah.
imagine that. So we've been talking for a while, so we're going to start winding down.
Yes.
But I still have a few more questions. I could talk to you for a long time. Have you ever failed at anything? And what did you fail at?
No, I mean, there have been many failures.
Okay.
There have been many failures, and the failures can be sort of daunting. But then now that you are asking me, I'm trying to remember which is the failure that I should talk about.
That you're comfortable talking
And
about?
seriously, you know, I don't remember many of them.
Okay.
You know, they say something that when you fail, it teaches you certain things, and then you can improve on it.
I think that just to contribute to that, even the idea that you don't remember a lot of them is a good thing. And I'll tell you why. It means that you don't stay down.
Yes.
It probably means that when you fail, you find a solution, you get up, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you
That's
move
right.
on. You know, so... Yeah,
No,
that-
I think you're right. So, you know, I can't remember. You know, I'm even trying to think which is the one that I should talk about.
Yeah.
But it's difficult.
It's difficult.
Perhaps I think one of the things is this is not a failure, but it's a failing.
Okay.
Is that I normally, you know, we have a strong leadership. Top leadership is strong.
Yeah.
They are good. They know what they are doing. But is that, you know, I sort of, there was a time when we would be meeting regularly outside the offices and so on. Nowadays, I don't even have that time. And so, you know, my relationship with them is very much a work-related relationship. Transactional and so on, and also taking up issues with them of what I see we could do better.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, my relationship with the middle and lower middle management and lower management is extremely different. Because I seem to, I could spend more time with them, and I could, you know, because of different things that we do, different activities, and that's where something like our sports teams and support to our sports teams for the association games comes in, is that I see that there can be a lot of things that that I can do with them socially, and also, you know, learning the business, growing the business.
Thank you for that. So, I'm thinking about future-proofing this giant that you've built. And I'll tell you a very quick story. So when I went into secondary school, I had decided I was going to do arts were the histories, the literatures, the geographies, and so on. Talking to my father several years later, he had leased out a place to start a consulting practice, a hospital. So my father was a physician surgeon when he was alive. And so I'd asked him, so why are you doing this? What's your plan? And he goes, in our local dialect, someone in our Bianco medical school, which means, loosely translated, but none of you went to medical school. So we got into a conversation. And I realized that a quiet part of him had wanted one of us to go to medical school. But he had never said. So even though I had older siblings who had done sciences and could have gone to medical school, and I didn't know that was the pressure. But I think maybe he had given some of my siblings pressure. I can't speak to that because my siblings are also much older than I am. But as we had that conversation, without voicing it, I could sense the very silent disappointment of, I wish one of you would have followed in my footsteps and done what I did. So that was one thought. Then the second thought was, but I'm happy with what you're doing. You know, you're doing the things that you want to do. But it didn't negate the idea. But I've also seen many people build businesses, and they build exceptionally solid businesses with great foundations. And these businesses are businesses that are keyed up to last more than one generation. And we've seen global businesses. We've seen the KFCs, we've seen the Allianz Insurances that start off, but they last on and on and on. And it will be good to get a sense of how you see your organization 50 years from now. And I ask that because, I mean, and I know nothing about your, and I know this part of this is also a family business, because as you talked about it, I realized that you also had other siblings involved. So this is not just about your immediate offspring, but what do you envision and what do you wish for 50 years from now when the name Apollo is mentioned or APA Insurance is mentioned?
Well,
is that a difficult question?
Yes, it is. No, one thing is the way we have run the business, the way we have built it. One thing I can say is that we have a extremely solid foundation.
Yes.
We, there is, like I said, that there is a line, invisible line that is drawn, and nobody is allowed to cross it. So, our principles are extremely important. I would not want people to do something, something wrong. We must do everything as much as, totally by the book.
Yes.
And deliver by the book. So that is something that is part of our, foundation, and also part of our ethos. And from the family right now, there is really only one person who is there besides me, and that's my nephew.
Okay.
And I do hope that perhaps, he will take, he's got a very senior position, but that he could also take over one of the companies there. But whether it's, I'm not going to be there for much longer. I will be there perhaps in the board level, but running the businesses, we will have to bring in somebody strong to run the business. But I would look at APA Apollo, 30, 50 years, but I would be hoping that it will be a business that will continue for an eternity. That it will, that the people who are going to run it will have to run it properly. We will be in the next few years. We'll become a fairly large regional player.
Yeah.
With Hollard and Swiss Re as our shareholders. Hollard is in 7 countries, and we are in 3 countries. But any regional expansion in this area will be done under the APA Apollo banner and leadership. And so we want to see expand our expansions in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. We'll be looking at when Ethiopia opens up, we should be looking at Ethiopia very extremely seriously. Then we can also look at the DRC, which is another area where there is a lot of expansion going on. But in 30 to 50 years, I'm hoping that the people who are running this business and growing it will continue with the same energy and the same principles that we have set, so that whether if even if there is no family, there will be the growth will continue, the brand will continue, and we will be able to show to the world that we have the pedigree that has allowed us to grow bigger and bigger.
Okay. Thank you. So, my last question. I'm sure there are many young people or even middle-level managers who have dreams, who have aspirations, who want to do something for themselves. What guidance would you be giving them? What would you be telling them about building? What would you say do, don't do? What would that be?
Well, one thing is that why I have become what I am is that I actually pushed my way into many positions. When I saw that there was a need that I should take a stronger role in different areas, I went ahead and took the role. I didn't ask anyone.
Yeah.
I just went in and I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it, in a way that it will change what our results are. So I, if are the young people, for them to perhaps just say that I'm going to go in and change things might not be that easy, because corporate culture doesn't allow it, but it does allow them to change, start making an impact in the areas they are working in, and showing that they can actually they can start taking a bigger role, because the opportunities of taking bigger roles are there.
Yes.
One of the things that we have said to HR is that as long as possible, we must have an internal recruitment for vacant positions. But what it is that if somebody, we see that somebody is coming up and can do better, then we should actually give them a bigger opportunity.
Understood.
For example, the general insurance business, the main areas of the general insurance business is obviously motor, asset classes, and health.
Okay.
And health is now becoming one of the bigger parts of our business. So what we are doing is that we're not really creating a separate company, but we are making it into a quasi company within APA Insurance, and holding the persons who are going to running it accountable. And to give them challenges that first they must continue it to grow profitably, and also create enough what would I say, opportunity for all those who are working in that area. So the same way we would like to do the same in the motor business. And what it is that perhaps I'm a little bit out of touch with many areas of our business, but I've seen people who have who are doing well, And I'm going to, I sort of say that we must support these people to grow. So these are the same people who will actually make a difference in your business. So for the young people, for those who are looking for opportunities, and who are actually in a system, they have, I would have sort of advise them that, put your best foot forward and show that you are able to do certain things, so that your manager, your leadership can see the leadership qualities that you have, that you can bring to the business, and allow you to a freer hand.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
So,
I hope this was as interesting for you as it was for me. And did you enjoy this conversation?
no, I did. I enjoyed the conversation. It was quite interesting, and what it is that started reminding me of a lot of things, which I've not thought about.
You've not thought about for a
long time. Yes.
I will be right back. I will bring you something for our last shot.
Okay.
Ashok, normally I make cocktails for my guests.
Okay.
But I was thinking about it. I was like, nah, I'm not going to stress Ashok out with my guest games. So I know that you're a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
So I thought we'll just do a toast with some coffee.
Okay.
And that will then wrap this up.
You're good.
All right.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure.
I really appreciate you. Cheers. I don't know how we do that, but yes, there we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
So I say stir it up.
Ready to start.